What do you want me to do now?
Huh?
What do you want me to do?
I'm going to ask you some questions.
Okay.
All. It'll be really easy. I'm just going to do this so we have a sound thing. That'll do. Okay. Tell me about that car. Tell me exactly what's sitting behind us.
What exactly do you want to know?
I want to know the basic description. Is it
Where did you get the car? How did you found it?
With a tree growing up through the middle of it.
A guy told me that in Pryor, Oklahoma, there was a Nash sitting in the background, back there in an old salvage. A Nash? You got to be kidding. So I said, oh, I'll go look at it. So I went and looked at it. I thought, that's when Hot Rod Magazine was doing the deal. It was called Dare to Be Different back then. And I thought, man, that will work. That will be different. So we cut down about 10 trees and drug it out. There was another one beside it, but it did not say delivery man. It just said Nash on it. I thought, no, I don't need that, I need this one. So we drug it out, and I took it back to the shop, and we, of course, stripped it all down, and I had it sandblasted. I took it over to a friend of mine that does chassis, and he built a chassis for it, and we got it done. And the funny thing, the front bumper guards are about this long. Okay, we couldn't get it out of his garage. We had to cut the bottom of them off. That's why they're still off, to get it out of his garage. So we got that done and took it back, and had another friend of mine that built motors. We got a motor built and got it all in, got it running, and we took it to Quoin, Illinois first, to the big show. That show up there was like Hot Rod Magazine, Carcraft, trucking. You know, it was big time back then. And we took it up there and won a top 5 there. And then, let's see,
Pro Tour.
they wanted to put it in SEMA. So we took it to SEMA and put it in SEMA. That went over real well and all that stuff. And that was back when you could go around and distributors would give you their products and stuff if you put their name on the car. So that's when I started building the Starliner, the other car I had. So I got a bunch of parts for it. But we got the Nash. A friend of mine had a trailer out there that was open, that was going through Tulsa. I said, whoa, wait a minute. Well, let me put that on there. So we loaded on the trailer and headed back to Tulsa. And then later, I don't know, a few months later, Hot Rod Magazine called me and said it won top 10 of the year. Cool. What size jacket do you wear? I said, large. Okay. Well, at the time, I told them extra large. So they sent me a jacket later, which was cool. And then they come out with a deal later in the year. It was called Best 50th Cars Built Forever, or something like that. And it was one of them. So, and another friend of mine that did a lot of photographing for me was at Quoin, and he did a bunch of photographing on it, a bunch. And he's the type, he sells it to magazines. So he sold it to a place in overseas in Africa. It went over there, all the magazine stuff went over there. And it was in 5 or 6 overseas magazines. Some of them I didn't get. I got one of them, I think. Is that right, Cooper? One of them? And when you try, you can't read it. I mean, it's like slang words and stuff. But it went over good, and we had a good time with it. And it won a lot of awards everywhere it went. Because that was, you know, back Dare to Be Different deal. Because a friend of mine from Ohio, had a winter mint green Impala, and we kind of showed together and stuff and got to be good friends. But other than that, we just showed it everywhere. Drove it.
How does it feel to have it back?
Do what?
How does it feel to have it back?
Unreal. I mean, I don't. Cooper found it. on the internet, didn't you? Somewhere? I thought, you can't be. It can't be. Okay, so long story short, they got a hold of them and sent the money up there. They did, and got her hauled back. It's just, and I can't believe the shape it's in. I mean, it's unbelievable shape for 35 years old. You know, so other than that, and then kind of passed it down to my grandson. He knows a lot about cars and stuff. He works with me, and we're going to do a few more things to it, kind of late model a little bit more on it. But it's a good car, a good driving car, and all that stuff. So.
Tell them about people calling your shop after you built it and won all these awards.
Oh God! After it won all them awards, I had phone calls every day. Do you want to buy a Nash? I said, nope, I done did that deal. I don't need no more, okay? And there was some more built later, you know, but they didn't get in magazines and all that stuff. They just, because it was the cars done did, you know, so, but yeah, they drove me nuts for, I bet a year calling. I've got a Nash. Okay, I had one, sold it. Yeah, me and the guys talking about from Illinois, and an S10 Blazer that I built there in town, Pro Streeted and all that. All them 3 cars, we loaded them up one day because a guy in Phoenix wanted to buy them. So we hauled them out there, and he's had a lot of money. But I didn't know it at the time. But he had them sold to a guy in California already. So everybody went back except me. And I went with him out there and got to know the guy. His name was Pence. He raised, what was that guy Pence raised? Wasn't it cabbage or some shit?
Yeah,
Something like that out there, big farms and stuff like that, a lot of money. And I talked to him later, and he didn't like the Blazer. He said he was going to keep the Nash and the Impala, and I guess later he said he'd never sell them. Well, it ended up later in Florida, and I got wind of it and called the guy down there, and he said, "Oh no, I'll never sell you." You know, well, it ended up north somewhere, you know. But yeah, I stayed there for a week. The guy wanted to put me in a shop in Phoenix, hot rod shop. I knew he had a lot of money, and so I said, well, let me just ride around town here by myself and look around. He said, okay, here's the keys, okay. So I went out riding around checking with some people that he dealt with, and you didn't want to go to work for him. He would get the shop going good and then fire you. But you know, he offered me a bunch of money, and he said he'd buy me a house and pay half of it down, you know, all this kind of stuff, but it didn't work out. So I got on a plane, come home. So.
Good story. That's a too good to be true kind of deal.
Yeah.
Let's get all 3 at the car. Can we do that?
Yep.
Yeah, true. Here's the. Beautiful. Can we get it in front? Yeah. Can y'all stand in front of it for me? Let's get on the other side. So we got y'all in full light.
Youngest, oldest.
Oh yeah. Let's put Johnny in the middle. Let's put you on the left and Eric you on the right. Yeah. Good 3 right there. And we're just gonna get a quick shot of this. Y'all can go ahead and look at camera for this. I wish our drone was about, but it will. Yeah, that's good stuff. Come on back.